Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augment Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I am your host as usual, and obviously welcome back to the show. Today's episode 209 of the show. And before we get started, I'm going to do a house cleaning quick because, well, you guys know I like to do it around here and it only makes sense that we do it. So let's just get on with the house cleaning. I do want to say thank you guys for coming back and listening. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys constantly take time out of your days to download these episodes, to share these episodes, to constantly keep letting me know how you feel, whether you like my stupid opinions or not. At the end of the day, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all the Patreon backers for supporting the show. I also appreciate all of you guys, again, for downloading these episodes, for letting me know how you feel about the topics, for choosing the topics, because we do the polls on social media. And overall, just, you know, for those that have been reaching out to me and just talking to me about like my trip coming up, I greatly appreciate that. From the bottom of my heart, it really does mean a lot to me. So for today's episode, we're talking about something a little bit more, I wouldn't say, well, in comparison to other stuff, it is definitely more lighthearted. However, interesting and on some levels concerning. So what we're talking about today is the whole situation going on with EVO and the Smash Brothers community, or primarily no longer, or how would you say, the fact that Smash Brothers will no longer be associated with EVO. And this really came out of left field. This was news that was reported on the 26th of February, so a couple days ago. Essentially, at the time of this recording, it was 5 days ago. And this was the official statement. I'll also be putting it up on the screen so you guys can see it as well. This is the official statement from EVO, where it says, please join us on March 8th at 5 p.m. PST on twitch.tv/EVO for the EVO 2022 announcement show. While we're thankful for all the amazing games joining us later this year in Las Vegas, we want to let you know in advance that Super Smash Bros. Will not be making a return appearance. Since 2007, we've seen historic Super Smash Bros. Moments created at EVO events. We are saddened that Nintendo has chosen not to continue that legacy with us this year. In the future, we hope to once again celebrate the Super Smash Bros. Community alongside them. This, for a lot of people, can either get people upset with Nintendo, can get people upset with the FGC. This can get people upset with multiple number of, like, to be honest, let's be real here. A lot of people are just going to try to find someone to blame, to be mad at, because that's just how humans are. We just want someone to blame when something doesn't go our way or when something just seems really crappy. And with this situation, I can see why it would be very weird, but I also put it like this. We're dealing with Nintendo here. Nintendo, when it comes to their track record, I always like to say they always like to take one step forward and take, give or take, maybe 10 steps backwards. And with Nintendo, in regards to Smash Brothers, it has never been I wouldn't say it hasn't been a good relationship. I think the better way to think about it is Nintendo's relationship with the FGC and the competitive Smash community has never been the most, how would you say, welcoming. It has never been the most supportive. It has never been the most, well, favorable relationship, especially given after what happened a couple years back with the whole scandals of, sexual misconduct in the Smash Bros. Community, where a lot of high-profile Smash players were outed as pedos. Yeah, it didn't really help the Smash community in terms of their relationship, or at least building a relationship with Nintendo to be more hands-on with the competitive Smash community and maybe chip in more to the prize pool. Because one of the prime examples of Nintendo really just openly supporting the Smash community in terms of competitive was when they did their own tournament. And when I think it was with I forgot if it wasn't Ultimate. It was Smash Brothers on the 3DS and the Wii U. It was that Smash Brothers game specific, Super Smash Brothers. That one specifically was when Nintendo became a little bit more hands-on, when they actually did a tournament. And, as everyone remembers, Zero won that tournament. If you don't know who Zero is, Zero was a famous Super Smash Brothers player who also was outed during these controversial times. However, information has came to light, so I'm not allowed. Well, personally, I'm not going to place judgment on him, especially because there is new information that's come to light. So we're just going to let that situation play out the way it is and let the actual truth come out in this situation. But yes, he was one of the people that were affected with the initial report of sexual misconduct in the Smash Brothers community. So it didn't help that Nintendo, after that situation, was like, yeah, we're probably going to crack down on this a lot more, or we're going to be more protective of the Smash Brothers IP, especially when it comes to the competitive scene. And yes, they are going to be more hands-on in the sense that they're going to regulate it a lot more, which I always say this with Nintendo, specifically one Smash Brothers game. This is the one that everyone always refers to, Melee. And with Melee, yes, we understand that Nintendo's relationship with Melee is not the best. They've been wanting this game to die for a long time. They've been wanting people to get over this game. They want people to stop talking about this game. They want people to stop playing this damn game. They just really hate Melee because Melee was kind of, how would you say, the first Smash Brothers game that really just took off competitively just because of the skill ceiling inside of that game, and just how insanely competitive, like in terms of a fighting game, that game is just, in terms of mechanics, is just bonkers. It's super fun to watch competitive Melee. And Nintendo just wasn't happy. They wanted people to focus in terms of competitive play. If they really wanted to be more active with competitive play, they wanted people to focus more on the newer games, like say Brawl or Super Smash Bros. Or now Ultimate. But EVO always kept promoting Brawl, or not Brawl, Melee. Melee was always the one that was promoted because it was just the one that, well, was the most competitive. A lot of people loved playing it. Its competitive scene was very large, very active. And then we got Ultimate, or primarily we had Super Smash Bros. Then we got Ultimate. And let's be real, well, I do agree with that statement that EVO made, that there's been plenty of great Smash moments at EVO. Yes, that is absolutely true. There's been some great moments. We've also had some stinkers, like the one year of the grand final was just Bayonetta, 2 Bayonetta players, and it was, well, it was a grand finals on the main stage of EVO, and it was complete, well, for the lack of a better term, it was just straight crap watching that game. It wasn't fun. It wasn't exciting. It was extremely boring. And that wasn't a good look, especially with the FGC's, which is even funnier. Nintendo doesn't even have a good relationship with the FGC to begin with. It doesn't help that the FGC does not look at Smash Brothers in the most favorable light. Like, I always say this, other fighting games or other pro players or other communities in the fighting game community or in the fighting game space don't necessarily respect the Smash community. They don't necessarily they don't view Smash as an actual fighting game. They view it as a party game, the same way how Nintendo does. They just view it more as a party game. And it's always been that battle between the two communities. Like, it almost feels like it's like a us versus them, if you want to put it like that. And now that Smash won't be at EVO, a lot of people are like, well, where do we go? What happens to the Smash Bros. Community? What happens to the pro scene of Smash Bros? Which, to be honest, even though it won't be at EVO, I do see other tournaments happening, because one thing that people seem to also forget was Nintendo did do a collaboration with Panda Global so that Nintendo is able to run their own Smash Brothers tournaments. Granted, we haven't seen the fruits of any of that negotiation due to the fact that, there was just a small little, pandemic that kind of threw everything threw everything out of order. But it's going to feel weird on some levels, because I'm just put it like this. From my personal experience, I always love watching EVO. EVO is one of those times when me and my friends, we always just sit on our computers or, I would say, yeah, that's pretty much, that's the only way we watched it, is we would just sit on our computers and watch a lot of the tournaments, like watch a lot of the games. And then when it was the grand finals, we would just sit down and watch it and just speculate how it's going to go down. And it wasn't just Smash. It was like watching Tekken or watching MK10 or MKX or MK11 or watching Injustice or, you know, watching Dragon Ball Z Fighters or watching Smash or watching, what was another? Well, when Marvel was a big deal, I loved watching Marvel, or Street Fighter 2. Like, I loved watching Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter 4 Ultra. It was just a crazy time watching. Those are some of my favorite highlights. Or watching Third Strike. Man, those are some great memories. For me, it feels weird. It's, to say the least, it feels weird. This doesn't, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me because, well, Nintendo had already made a deal with Panda Global, and I guess now this is their way of solidifying the deal that, hey, this year we're probably going to see Nintendo sponsor Smash tournaments, or we're going to start seeing Nintendo crack down more on the competitive scene of Smash and really try to have more control, find better ways to filter out, you know, I know it's kind of weird to say the bad players. I don't mean bad players in terms of skill. I mean bad players in terms of actual people. Because let's be real here, guys. It was really bad when a lot of the high-profile Smash community got outed for, you know, sexual misconduct. That, let's just be real here, guys. That really didn't help your case in terms of trying to get Nintendo to be more open with supporting the pro Smash community. That did not help. It's the same thing what happened with the Pokemon community when a lot of big PokeTubers were outed for the same stuff. It doesn't really look good when you're trying to get the company that makes the games that you love, try to get them on your side to support and maybe like help make this an even bigger deal. You get what I'm saying? At the same time, like I said, the whole deal with Panda Global, that's where we're really going to start seeing is a lot of the fruit come from that and really start to see Nintendo, well, take advantage of that partnership that they did like a while back, because let's be real, kind of a nice thing called the pandemic kind of threw everything on the rockers, especially when, you know, given how it is in Japan and how, you know, they've been handling the pandemic and handling the restrictions. They've obviously been a lot more tight about it. So to me personally, I think that's what's going to happen this year. The fact that Smash Bros. Will not be at EVO, I think we're probably going to see a Nintendo-sponsored Smash tournament. They'll probably announce it at like E3 or something like that during a Direct, or they might announce it later in the year, or maybe around the time of EVO, because EVO is always in the summer. To me, it's sad that this is what it's come to. Am I surprised? No, because at the same time, this is Nintendo we're talking about here. Nintendo ain't necessarily the best people to deal with and work with because, like I said, they like to take one step forward and 10 steps backwards. Nintendo will always try to find, well, I put it like this. Nintendo will always try to find a way to win. They're always going to try to get people to do, like, get their consumers to do what they want and do it the way they want them to do it. That's just how Nintendo has always operated. It's like the same situation going on right now with the eShop situation where they're not going to change their ways. Like, as much as people say, like, EVO was like, oh, we hope that Nintendo will work with us later down the road so that we can, you know, bring Smash back to EVO. And I'm like, guys, Nintendo is a very, very stubborn company. Like, they really don't like to change their ways. It took them a long time for them to properly do, like, not even with the return policy. What am I talking about? Their return policy is still trash. Like, they were still stubborn about the whole Joy-Con drift situation. They were still stubborn about what, like, the Pokemon franchise of keeping it the same crap for so many years until they finally made Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, I'm telling you, bro, Nintendo is an extremely stubborn company that will not change their ways. Or to get them to change their ways, you really got to do a lot. And I think with this situation, the fact that they already have a deal with Panda Global, they're probably going to start doing their own Smash tournaments. I think the Smash community will be fine. I think the Smash community, yes, it'll be weird to not have them at EVO, especially because it always does big turnout. Like, people don't seem to realize Smash has always been a massive turnout for EVO. They always have plenty of signups. It definitely generates some of the most views. If we're just being objectively honest, going by the numbers, Smash always did better numbers. It did. did better numbers than every other fighting game during EVO. It definitely generated more revenue for EVO. It did a good job at doing that because it has a very, very active and vocal fan base. So it's going to feel weird not having the Smash community at EVO. Now, granted, they're like people that play Smash, they probably play other fighting games too. So probably those players will still, like, they'll go to EVO, they just won't play Smash. And when Nintendo does their own events, then they'll just do that. I think going forward, it's just going to feel weird. I know EVO is very hopeful, very adamant that, or at least hopeful in the sense that Nintendo will come back and that, you know, they can work something out to get Smash on EVO. However, given that this is Nintendo we're talking about here, I don't see it happening. I realistically think that, yes, as sad it is to say, I think this is the end of Smash at EVO. For either, not forever, but I think for a very, very long time, unless something drastically changes at Nintendo, or if there's just some massive, like, revolt. But let's be real, Nintendo fans, as much as they always like to rag on Nintendo, they'll just keep buying their crap no matter what. I say that because I rag on Nintendo, but I also do buy a lot of their stuff. Prime example, I just bought myself a Game Boy Advance SP, and then I got copies of Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Emerald, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and then just some other games, which is funny because the copy of Silver came with a Game Boy Color, so I got all three of those, and then I rebought a DS Lite and a new 3DS XL, so I'm just like, to me, I always like to rag on Nintendo. I'm just being honest here, because Nintendo, well, I do agree. I will always praise them when they do something good, when they make a good call, when they make a good decision. I will be heavily critical of them when they do stuff like this, or when they say shut down the Nintendo 3DS eShop and the Wii U's eShop. I will always be critical about Nintendo when it comes to those poor decisions that just really don't make a lot of sense for their communities that they're affecting, especially given how vocal and how active and how lively these communities are, especially with the Smash community. It's a very active community. Let's not pretend like this is just some small title like, in comparison, let's just say it's not like the Metroid franchise where it's it does good number, like at least it can do good numbers, but it's not like Smash, where Smash has a very active, a very large, a very loyal fan base that will shell fat racks of money to play. Like they know that this game is a money generator. To me, I think it's just a bad call from Nintendo, but I also understand if this is part of the negotiations with the Panda Global, partnership that they decided to do, and then so they can run their own tournaments, then yes, that makes a lot of logical sense. However, it kind of goes back to like the whole situation that Nintendo's always been stubborn about Smash, that they've not, heck, even smaller tournaments, they didn't even want smaller tournaments allowing them to play Smash, or even versions of Melee that allowed online play, especially when EVO had to go online, and this is the first year EVO is going to be in person. So for me, it's going to be interesting. It's kind of saddening at the same time, but it's Nintendo, everybody. What can I say? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Whether, are you mad at Nintendo? Do you think this is fair? That this is like, it makes a lot of logical sense that this is happening? Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like today's episode, then, hit the like button if you're listening on YouTube or watching it on YouTube. Or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and leave a review, leave a 5-star or however you feel that you want to leave a review for the show. Hopefully it's a 5-star, because let's be real, this content, well, if you guys didn't enjoy it, you guys wouldn't keep coming back and listening. So I must be doing something right on some levels. But again, thank you guys so much for your love. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys continue to have yourselves a wonderful week and a wonderful day. Please continue to just be safe out there, guys. The world is still a weird place. And please continue to be kind and respectful and just mindful of those around you, because that just always, I always put it like this. Being mindful and just being aware of your surroundings and being aware of those around you, it just always makes everyone's day better. On some, whether you realize it or not, it will make somebody's day better. Even just saying hi to somebody or just talking to them, getting to know them, and just really interacting with them. You never know, guys. That stuff can really go a long way to changing somebody's life. And I just recommend that you guys just be mindful, be courteous of those around you. Be more willing to engage and not be, how would you say, be weird, and just don't be a jerk. Be kind, be courteous. But as always, guys, I love you guys to death. And as always, don't do anything dumb. And I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Hey there, thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.